Whew, there might be too much light in this window. Oh well. Good morning, YouTube. Let's see. I brought Zena with me today. I didn't bring her. She brought herself. So I'm definitely getting started a little later today than I have been. Wow, I really don't like this lighting at all. I don't want to go where I normally go because it's cold outside, you guys, and I'm usually out in the pool house, and that's actually been working very well for me because I've gotten a lot of stuff done. Actually, like going from my room, because I only have a room here, going to the pool house and like working, have keeping the computer out there, keeping like my pile of papers and thoughts where I left them, so I can just come back to them. But it was a little chilly out there this morning. I'm like, I'm probably not gonna be able to do that much longer. So I really missed you guys yesterday. I had a lot of things going on in the morning. I had a lot of things going on this morning too, is why I'm a little later than I normally want to start. I have an accountability call on Thursday mornings at 7, so I won't ever be able to start at 7. But I was thinking maybe starting at like 6, 6:30, so that I get it done before I do everything else, because I really like to come in here fresh out of meditation and for a good night's rest. And Zena, that's enough of all that, mamas. We don't want to hear you lick the whole time. So yeah, I like to come in here fresh out of meditation. And would you guys like me to play you a song? I can't really play a whole song yet. I can almost play a song. Okay, so yeah, yesterday, I don't know what is going on with my hair today. Not that I really care, but so I have something that I really, really want to talk to you guys about, but I don't know how to have the conversation without you guys having like the basic knowledge of like human design. A friend of mine and I are going to sit there. We're going to actually spend a week like brainstorming on how to talk about human design where it's not complex to people who don't understand it. And so I kind of wish we already had, because I just feel like something's really heavy on my heart that I want to share, but I don't know how to share it from the place that I've gained the wisdom and the awareness around, without talking to people who deeply understand human design. So basically, wow, I feel like I might even get emotional. It's an emotional subject for me, what I'm fixing to talk about. So basically, human design has all the chakra systems in it too. So, and those are what we call centers. And so like you have the head, and you have the ajna, and you have the throat, and you have the G center, and you have the sacral, and you have the root, and the solar plex, and the spleen. Not everyone is what we call in human design defined in every area. Some of those areas, like the head or the ajna or the throat or the G center or the sacral, those places can actually be what's called open or undefined in human design. Now, when they're defined, we operate from that place. Like, that's just us. That's who we are. So, like, my ajna is defined, my throat's defined. And so, like, the ajna is all about, like, conceptualizing and understanding things and just, like, basically being able to, like, download the whole room when you walk into it. So, mine's defined. So, what that means is, in my ajna, I have knowings that are true to me, true for me, true from my experience. And it's just a knowing, I have a knowing. And it's connected to my throat. So I'm able to talk about those. Doesn't seem like it right now, huh? Well, the biggest thing is I want to bring it in a way that you guys can actually understand what I'm talking about, so that you guys can get something from this video, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Like, so my throat is connected to my ajna in a way that I can talk about my knowings, you know? And then like my G center is defined, and that's all about love and direction and identity. And so I have my own identity. A way for you guys to relate to that is if anybody who's watching now or watches the replay and you find yourself like people are like, oh, well, you know, this and this and this, you should be this way and this way. And you're like, well, this is just the way I am. Your G center is probably defined because we operate as ourselves inside of those defined areas. And everybody's defined areas are different. So I'm mostly defined. I have 3 centers that are open, which is the head, which means I don't really think about a lot of stuff that doesn't matter. And if I am, then I'm being not self. I'm going to create a lot of frustration for myself. So I'm a person who deeply, deeply benefits from meditation. I can get rid of all the thoughts in my head and just feel really calm and centered and grounded in the moment. Not all people can. Some people are defined in the head until their thoughts never stop. Never stop. You know, so they can learn to put those in the background, have it like a background noise and not attach to it, but to actually clear their mind and have no thoughts cannot happen for them. So when you come to what's called the heart center or the ego center, I am completely open in that center. And the ego center is all about like the heart center. It's all about self-worth and like a willpower to get things done. You can make commitments, but a lot of it's really about worthiness. You know, there's a lot of unworthiness in this world, and I personally believe that it comes from only, I think 28% of the population is defined in the heart. And so their worthiness is conditioning the rest of the world's worthiness. So 30% are conditioning the other 70%. It's not going really well. So for me, my heart center is completely open. I don't have any gates, no access to anything that goes on in there, no framework to understand what happens in there. And so that's something that I really struggle with in my life is unworthiness and not having any concept or framework to work around it at all. And so realizing that, I feel like I'm not going where I want to go with this, and I'm really getting in my head about it. What, am I thinking about things that don't matter? I am a little bit. I'm just not sure that I can explain this in a way that I can be understood without you understanding human design, and that bothers me. But so in human design, when you have what's called an undefined center, you'll typically have some kind of reference points in there, you know? And so like, okay, so a good example, let's go back to the head center. So in the head center, if I get around, since I'm open, I'm actually what's called undefined. I actually have a gate there. So I have framework. And so when thoughts come in and out, I can be like, oh, okay, well, these don't matter. Like I can let these go, right? And when I get around someone who's defined in the head center, I will amplify their thoughts by 10. So if I was completely open in my head center, I would amplify their thoughts by 100 because I have no framework. It creates all this chaos and confusion and like, what is this? Why am I suddenly having all these racing thoughts at like a really high volume? Well, that happens for all of our centers, and all of our centers do different things for us. And so in the heart center, since I'm completely open there, when I get around a defined heart, I experience that at a level 100. So if that person is dealing, if they're defined and they're feeling unworthy, I will feel unworthy by 100%. If they're feeling worthy, I'll feel worthy by 100%. So but I have no framework for it. I have no idea why I feel so worthy or why I feel so unworthy. Like, and the same thing happens in the solar plexus, which is all about emotions. Maybe this is something more people can relate to. It's like, have you ever experienced emotions that you have no reference for, that you can't even describe how you're feeling inside, but you're feeling emotional? It could be the same thing. You could be undefined or open emotionally, and you're around someone who's defined. And so you're experiencing all of their emotions at a higher level. So if you're undefined, it's by 10. And if you're completely open, it's by 100. So, and that's the thing I love about human design is when you actually get to see your own body graph and you start understanding how you're designed and where you're defined and where you're not defined and what's yours and what isn't yours, then you can start understanding how you operate in the world and how to move through the things that are serving you or not serving you. And so finding out that my heart is so, so open explains a lot to me about the ways I behaved inside of the relationship with Curtis. So when Curtis and I are together, so also in human design, you take your body graph chart and anybody you're in connection with, not just a partner, your children, your mom, your dad, your siblings, your friends, all of that. And it helps you understand what you look like together. So you put the body graphs on top of each other. And whenever you're within 6 feet of that person, you're experiencing the things about them and they're experiencing the things about you based on what's open or defined and vice versa. Like I said, very complex system. But Curtis and I, when we become connected together, we have gates that create a defined heart. So he and I have a defined heart together. Curtis experiences that defined heart as like a level 10. So it's like he feels 10 times more worthy than he normally does, or 10 times worse than he normally does, depending on where he's at with his own self-worth and his own concepts of who he is and how he fits into the world and what he thinks about himself. So his goes up by a 10, right? And he has lots of things to like reference that around the worthiness and the understanding because he is only undefined. So he has a gate, he has some experience, he has some conditioning, he has some understanding. Mine's completely open. So when I get near Curtis, I feel a worthiness level of 100. I'm just like, oh my God. And I have all this willpower to get all these things done. And I'm just like, oh, this is so amazing. It must be the thing I'm supposed to do in this life and in this world. And I'd do anything for him. And oh my gosh, you guys, like bad. Like, and not, okay, so there's no good or bad in human design. I don't think there's good or bad in life anyway. I think just thinking makes it so. Okay, so, but what I've tried to make sense of all of this time that human design has finally brought to me is why when I'm with him, despite how he behaves, despite how he responds to me, despite what he does for me, why do I feel like he's the bee's knees? Why do I feel like over the moon, even if he's not nice? It's this defined heart. And it's no framework for it. Like none. Like not understand. Yep, here it comes. Not understanding why I feel so worthy just by being near him, and then can watch some of his responses or the ways that he treats me or the way that he interacts with me or judgments. He's tons of judgments for me based around this open heart. And I get it. If I was in his shoes, I would have it too. I would have immense amounts of judgment for him. I'd just be like, what the frick is actually wrong with you? Like, so when we would part company, my heart's so full, you know, it's just like expanding. I have no reference for why it feels so good. I just know that whenever I'm around him, I feel that good, right? That's all I've known until human design. Just like, I feel like I take on the world. Like there's nothing I couldn't accomplish. And I feel so good, like overflowing, like, let me love you and you and you. And let me tell you how amazing you are. And here, let me do this for you. And let me do this for you. And I mean, just, oh, like this whole physical, amazing just experience. And then when he leaves, or we part company for whatever reason, not leave like, oh, we're breaking up, but like he's going to do his thing, or I'm going to do my thing, or like early in the relationship when we were just dating and we'd spend the weekend together. So then within an hour or two, I mean, just feeling completely emptied out, like completely emptied out. Like there's nothing inside of me anymore, like he took all the best parts of me with him when he left. And I've never experienced that. Never. Like I've always been the one that it's like, yeah, I need a little bit of breathing room right now. Like literally, could you like go find something to do and like let me feel me and be me for, an hour or two, day or two, week or two, whatever. Like, because I am all about Arlene's space and I love my space and I really enjoy my own company. Even before I learned all this stuff. I mean, I really enjoy it now, but until he would leave and I would just become this other person. Like it made no sense to me. Like I'm not a needy, weird woman. Like I've been independent my entire life. I've paid all my own bills. I've had my own house. I raised my kids. Like, and take it or leave the guys, not that I don't become attached, not that I don't love them, but it was never like a need. And with Curtis, it was just like this basket case when he would leave, and I would reach out and try to like connect again, like, oh, I'm already missing you, or what, and I would get this response from him that was just like, damn girl, calm down, like what is wrong with you? And then I would become very upset because not only am I suddenly experiencing like this unworthiness on 100% level now because the connection, the defined heart is gone, but I'm getting this response from him that's escalating the unworthiness. There's not a what's going on, baby, or how can I help? There's a what's wrong with you? And of course, I already don't know what's wrong with me. I have absolutely no framework or reference for why I'm feeling these ways. And the craziest thing is because of this particular thing, Curtis never even got to experience the Arlene that I know, the Arlene that the rest of the world knows. And I don't know how many times in the relationship I told him that too. I'm like, I don't understand why I am having this experience with just you, which I'm sure in his brain, which I could totally understand because the same thing would happen for me. He's like, yeah, well, I don't know. How would you only be this way with me? Like, this doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? And it didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense to him. And so, of course, Curtis got this like impression of me that I'm like this needy, like emotional girl, which I'm not. I'm not even emotionally defined. And I had these immense amounts of judgment for myself as well. Like, what is wrong with me? I'm really freaking broken over here. And I'm not. And that's what I love about human design. It's not only does it make sense of a lot of stuff, because you guys have no clue how much judgment I had for myself and how much judgment Curtis had for me. And to have this understanding, to have this big like, oh, it's just like, okay, I get it. And it feels good to get it. And that's what I love about human design is so that once you have these understandings about yourself and you have this clarity around who you are and how you're designed, then you know where to work. You know how to honor yourself. You know how to understand yourself. You have awareness around the things that you've judged yourself for that aren't really wrong with you. That wasn't wrong with me. That was a lack of understanding, a lack of awareness. And granted, he did not help the situation at all. Like, and who knows what parts of me behaving like that were triggering what parts of him that he still needs to heal, obviously, because if I was triggering him, he needs to heal those places, because otherwise, you just stand in your shoes, I mean, that's why I'm doing all the work that I'm doing on myself. One is for personal freedom, so that I can just be vibrantly alive, so that I can just play and have fun and follow my bliss and just give the rest of the world freedom and everything else. But the other thing is I can't meet anyone anywhere that I haven't met myself first. So to have this understanding about the open heart, especially the completely open heart, I've already talked to two other women who have a way deeper understanding of their relationship with their partner than they've ever had. It's just felt like insanity because it's like up here, I'm witnessing. My ajna is defined. I'm taking everything in, and everything that I'm taking in does not match the experience that's happening in my body. And so that feels extremely confusing. And so human design brings that in, and they're like, hey, this is what's going on. And this is why you feel this way about this. And this is how to decondition that area or experience life differently. Like here's where you need to heal. Here's what you need to pay attention to. And so there were two ways that I was truly not self in that relationship. And one was not understanding why I was experiencing all this worthiness around him, despite how he behaved. Because I won't say Curtis is bad, because I don't think so. I mean, I think the sun rises and sets on him, literally. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to just be like, hey, everybody, look at Curtis. He's so awesome sauce, isn't he? But where was I going with that? But both of us were not self, and not self in a couple of ways. So the heart center, not self, is feeling like I need to prove myself. Oh, did I? Wow. I really felt like I needed to prove myself to Curtis the whole time. The whole time. And I don't experience that in every area of my life. I told him, I don't know how many times, that I always felt like I was trying out for the role of being his girlfriend. Like, but I kept trying. And the not self part of the solar plex system is avoiding confrontation and truth. And so the fact that he and I couldn't even sit down and talk about what was alive inside of us was two ways that I was not self. And he avoids confrontation and truth like crazy. And so it's like healing those centers and operating as self after we truly understand who we are, after we have this information in front of us of like, oh, this is me, this is conditioning. I can move this, I can evolve this, I can change this I cannot. You know what I mean? And so it's like, but the other person in the connection has to be willing to want to help you work through those things. I mean, that's the other reason I feel so drawn to like scream human design from the tops of mountains, you guys, is because it truly gives us an understanding of ourselves and each other in a way that we can honor each other. We can show up for each other. We can stop judging each other. We can stop judging ourselves, start honoring ourselves, start understanding ourselves. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. And most people, when they're introduced, like everybody I've introduced to it, I'll take that back. There's been two people, but I haven't thoroughly introduced those two people. They don't truly understand the system. They just understand that it exists and they don't know a lot about it. But everybody else has just had like such aha moments. Like when they're looking at their partner or their kids or their parents, any of those things, they're just like, oh my gosh. Oh my God, that's just how my mom is. Oh, I could honor her in this and stop judging her. I could love her. I could recognize her. I could support her. Like finally, I understand her in a way that I can show her love instead of always feeling so frustrated or confused or judgmental of her. It's just phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And there's so much growth in it. But good growth, intentional growth that actually takes you somewhere instead of like picking and choosing all the random things that society gives us to like help us move through things. This gives you specific stuff like based on you. And it's all an experimentation process. But let me tell you, every bit of it that I've experimented with is just like transformed my life, my understandings, my awareness about myself and the people around me. And it's like we spend so much time trying to put everybody in the same box with us. Like, oh, if you need extra support, there's something wrong with you because I don't. Well, for one, you may not even know if you need extra support. And for two, who are you to judge how other people are designed? And you start realizing that when you get deeper and deeper into human design. And it's like, I feel like I could like not sleep or eat for weeks just digging so deep into human design that I could free the whole world and create all these beautiful, expansive connections between people. That's the good shit in life, you guys. That's the good shit. It is for me anyway. And I want to understand me and the people around me on a very deep level so that when I get into their aura or when I'm in connection with them or in relation with them at all, they can feel better and bigger and stronger and whatever I can bring to them. You know, it's like my deepest desire to like have the world connect with each other and stop fighting and stop just dumping our trash inside of us on everybody around us, you know? Because we understand it. And because the people around us understand it. And they want to meet us where we're at. And we want to meet them where they're at. And I'm all emotional this morning. Anyway, that was a bit of a rant. But I feel very passionate about it, you guys. Very passionate. There's so many people in this world who are in pain and they don't know where to start. They don't know how to get out of it. They don't know how to be seen or understood by others or even see or understand themselves. And that's a painful, confusing, consuming place to be. I was deep in it for a while. And I hated me. And I hated that I didn't get to show Curtis all the beauty I really am because of not understanding this, not understanding that this defined heart was coming into me and I had no reference to understand it, no reference to process it. I had no reference about what it was at all. And this whole planet gets better when we can start moving through our issues in a way that we're understood and others understand us. We're not here to figure out our shit by ourselves. We're here to help each other through it. That's my belief. And human design's a way to do it. And I know that like most people think I have a rose-colored glasses on when it comes to this world, and maybe I do. Even part of my design talks about how I'm prone to heartache. I'm prone to heartbreak because people shock me. People shock me. I have this whole perception of how wonderful we all can be to each other and to ourselves. And and people come in and they're not like that. And I'm like, wow. And it just really rips the rug out from underneath me. So, but lots of good things are going on. I'm really enjoying coming in here and talking to you guys. Really, like I missed you guys yesterday. The cuddle puddle starts today. I'm really excited about that. I'm going to have some face-to-face contact with people I really love and who really love me back. Like I've met some of the most amazing people in the last year that have seen me and supported me and loved me through all of it, no matter what. No questions asked. No nothing. And at the end of all of it, you know what's really cool about it? At the end of all of it, they think I'm cooler. And so I get to be face to face with those people here in a few hours. I'm so happy about that. So so happy about that. um, and then I get to dive deeper into this human design stuff face to face with Johnny in a few days too. And Johnny really lights me up. Johnny has a defined heart. And so he and I are going to, he's going to borrow some of my centers, which is the beauty about human design. When he's in connection with me, he doesn't have a defined throat. So his ability to articulate his internal experience when he's in my aura is phenomenal. And so he gets to use all of that. He wants to borrow some of my root. The root is the pressure to get stuff done. Let me tell you, this root will make me fidget if I sit too long. There's sometimes he and I are doing like Marco Polos, and I'm like in and out of the Marco Polo screen because I literally can't sit still when my root's activated. There's a channel like the 3457, I think. I don't remember. Which is all about the drive to get stuff done too. So it's like, wow, get around Darlene and you're not going to be able to sit still. So there's lots that Johnny's going to be borrowing from me as well. But for me, it's going to be able to like experience a defined heart and the energy of that. Like get 6 feet away, come back in. It's going to give me a deeper understanding of what actually happened between Curtis and I too, in a way that I can judge myself even less. Because I've really judged myself. I know who I am. I know how incredible I am. I know how much fun I am. I know what I bring to situations. And I it just hardly ever happened with Curtis. Hardly ever happened with Curtis. And it was the connection. And I didn't understand it. He didn't understand it. And I'm not even sure if he had understood it, if he would have wanted to work through it with me. So there's that too. But at least then you know. You know what I mean? Maybe my defined Ocean is why I want to know all the things. Maybe you guys don't. But I do. And I've been on here for 32 minutes, huh? I see one little eyeball up there watching me. Hello, little eyeball. Man. There's some little birds outside the window in the fountain right now. Oh my gosh, you guys, they're so cute. They're taking a bath. It's Holly. I've always struggled being good enough. I've been alone for a long time, and I think guys may pick up. Oops. Wait, what happened there? We don't want to do that. Where's the comment? Come back to me. There it is. Alone for a long time. I think guys may pick up on it, even though I don't project it. They're just not interested. Yeah, Holly, you could definitely be undefined or completely open in the heart. 70% of the world is undefined or open in the heart, which is going to make me cry again because it makes me so sad that all of us are feeling these levels of unworthiness that's just not true. It's not true. We've been conditioned. We've been conditioned, and in human design, you get to decondition those centers so that you're not experiencing that crap anymore. And so that's why I'm super grateful Johnny's going to come here and let me play with his defined heart. Give me a deeper understanding of it. But human design's really the key to freedom. I really feel like I need to turn this camera around and show you guys the little birds in the fountain. They're like dipping under and splashing up. And I do have the fairy channel, so I'm quite fascinated and just love nature. Oh, and I feel so at one with nature. Like I love the trees. I'm a literal tree hugger. I will hug a tree. We'll hug it. Hug it. I will smile and I will play with her leaves and I will tell her how beautiful she is. And my whole body gets warm and my vibration raises and people are like, that weird tree hugger. Oh, it's true. And I'm okay with it. So, all right, that one was a little all over the place and I'm okay with it. I'm glad you came and hung out with me, Holly. It's my assumption that you're that one little eyeball that's been here with me the whole time. And I really appreciate you, Holly. I really appreciate you. As a 4-1 in human design, it's really important for me to feel connected to my audience. The more connected I feel to my audience and the more connected my audience feels to me, the better experience it'll be. So I may even start doing these live on Facebook because I have a whole big audience that shows up there. I have a really good handful of people that always show up when I go live on Facebook, and I'm really connected to them and they're very connected to me. And so what I might do is just start going live on Facebook so that I can have that audience, and then just uploading it to YouTube after I'm done. So if you guys want me to do it differently, let me know. My assumption is that a lot of you aren't catching me here live because, one, I don't really know how YouTube works. So I don't know if you get an immediate notification or if, since it's YouTube, you guys just don't feel as inclined to like interact. You know what I mean? Like we do on Facebook. So I think I'm going to figure out how to like stream live on Facebook from Zoom so that I can take that video and just start uploading it to YouTube so that you guys continue to stay like updated and with me, but you're also getting to see the full expression of the 4-1 I am, which comes out even more so when I have an audience that I'm relating to, that I'm interacting with, that's interacting back with me. So I feel really good showing up on the channel again, though. This channel's my baby. Like, I worked so hard to create this and all the movies that are on it and the community and the audience. And I absolutely love all of you guys. So it feels really good to be back in connection here on YouTube and making videos and stuff like that. Super excited. The Cuddle Puddle starts today. I'll do a live in here tomorrow morning, and there'll probably be 5 of us on it tomorrow morning. What do you think about that? Maybe we'll do some little comedy skit or something. Yeah, yeah, maybe we'll do something like that. But then probably starting next week, I'm probably just going to start going live on Facebook, and then I'll just upload it here for you guys to watch. So anybody wants to join me live on Facebook, please do. Just send me a message on the Barefoot Expedition page on Facebook, and then I'll come in and send you a friend request, and we'll get all hooked up on the Facebook so that you can come interact with me live. I think Holly's already hooked up with me on Facebook, so you can come in there, Holly, and watch me do my lives on Facebook and interact with me there, and then I'll just be uploading them here. So anyway, I do feel a little bit better, but I also feel like there's a part of me that's going to cry when I get off of here, but that's okay. Like, I'm okay with that. I'm really good at holding space for myself now and comforting myself. Like, you guys want to hear something funny? I'm so good at loving Arlene now that when I wake up in the mornings, I'm literally like, put my arm, like tuck my arm up underneath me, skin to skin. And I'm just like, oh, good morning, I love you. And I can just feel this warmth move over me, and I'm like, oh, I love you too. Like, so I'm really good at loving me. You guys get to be good at loving you. And see you guys again in the morning. Thank you.